If you are planning to visit New York soon or if it's gonna be your first time, you are watching the right video because I'm going to talk about New York City trip for first-timers, and I'm going to cover everything you need to know from pocket money down to the shoes that you have to wear. I'm also going to share my realizations and tips during my trip, and I think they will be very useful, especially to those who will visit NYC for the first time. Hello mga beshi! Welcome to my channel. My name is Martha, also known as the Beauty Junkie. I mainly talk about affordable and luxury beauty, luxury items like bags and shoes, travel, and a bit of lifestyle. If you've been a subscriber, hello, welcome back. And if you are new to my channel and you are into any of the things that I love talking about, then please hit the subscribe button. Welcome to my channel. First of all, visa and passport. I cannot stress this enough. Passport, alam niyo na yan, it has to be valid for at least 6 months before your trip. US visa, of course, mandatory yan. For you to be able to visit the United States of America, you have to be issued at least a single or a multiple entry visa. My visa is multiple entry, so the validity is 10 years. However, I applied for mine years ago, so I cannot really talk about how to process your US visa in this video because aside from it's gonna be too long, there might have been a lot of new changes since the time I applied, so please check out na lang the latest US visa processing videos for Filipino tourists. Okay, next, tickets. Of course, you need your tickets. But do you have to buy your tickets before you secure your visa? When I applied, no, it was not recommended because, of course, they do not want you to waste your money just in case you're not approved. Now that's out of the way, let us now go to some of the important things you have to know before your visit. So first one is pocket money. The average spend per day for a tourist in NYC is 200 to 300 USD per day. So that's between 11,800 pesos to 18,000 pesos. Yes, ganun po kamahal sa New York City. Actually, this is just your daily expenses and this includes your food and attractions and other form of entertainment. It doesn't include shopping yet, pero kung matipid ka, you can add shopping in here already. But if your budget is on the super low end, I think the maximum lowest recommended budget would be $100 to $150. Or that's between 5,900 pesos to 8,900 pesos. So yes, mga besh, mahal talaga sa NYC. And it's a city that you really have to save up for. And even if you're not the shopper type of person, it's really expensive there. Medyo mahal ang food. Just to let you know, the average cost of food in NYC for, let's say, chicken and rice, and eto yung mga carts pa lang on the street, ha? It starts around $18 already. They have $1 pizzas, but mostly you'll see that in the Lower East Village. And of course, you won't go naman to the Lower East Village all the time just to eat. Plus, medyo nakakasawa naman yung pizza ka every day. When it comes to modes of payment, cash is widely accepted and in fact preferred by a lot of vendors on the street. But in a lot of major establishments, they prefer credit cards because they don't want to bother with, giving you change. Just to share one example, when I was in the financial district and I wanted to buy coffee, I gave them $50, but they did not have change and they almost declined me. So I used my credit card instead. And that's the thing. If wala silang change or they don't want to bother, they really won't entertain you. They will decline your purchase. When it comes to withdrawing money, of course, marami namang banks all over NYC, especially in Manhattan. But personally, I'm not the type who will withdraw money abroad because I really hate the international charges. I can't really give you a lot of insight when it comes to withdrawing money. But just to let you know, maraming ATMs. Next, clothing and footwear. It really depends which time of the year you'll go. In our case, we went in November of 2024. It was chilly because it was autumn, but it wasn't really cold. But our first 3 days in NYC, yung nights were very, very chilly and very, very windy, which made it cold, not chilly anymore. The tips of our fingers were freezing, our lips were drying so bad na trigger nga yung asthma ko because lumamig siya. So yan, just to let you know, NYC is actually a windy city, so it's best to bring mga windbreakers. Kahit hindi naman super baba ng temperature, it can get really cold depending on the wind. I haven't been to NYC in summer, but some of my friends told me that when it's summer, it's also really hot. you have to wear comfortable shoes. Now, you will see a lot of tips on YouTube saying that if you want to blend in like a New Yorker, dress like the New Yorkers do. When it comes to footwear, they love wearing boots, heels. The New Yorkers, they live there. They know how to get around and they're already used to it. But if you are a tourist and you're not used to wearing heels and boots around, then don't attempt because you will just have a not so pleasant experience because your feet are hurting, you're getting blisters on your feet just because you're trying to look like a New Yorker. This is what I don't like about some YouTube channels telling you to dress like a New Yorker. If you're wearing this, you will look like a tourist. They make it sound so bad that you're a tourist. So what? I mean, you're really a tourist, so it's fine. Wear rubber shoes because they are the most comfortable footwear for walking. And trust me, the blocks in NYC are really huge. So let's say from 51st to 52nd, it's a huge block. So if you're wearing heels, I think you'll be dead just after the first block pa lang. And trust me guys, if you are in NYC, no one really cares what you're wearing. Everyone's busy doing their own thing. The New Yorkers are busy going to work. The tourists are busy checking out landmarks. No one will really care about what you're wearing. The only person who will care about what you're wearing is you. Next, transportation. This is quite important. So yung best options for us were Uber and the subway, especially the subway because it's so cheap. The Uber was okay, but as much as possible, we tried to minimize our usage because ang mahal niya talaga and it compounds eventually. So parang yung mga $30-$40 at the end of our trip when we totaled all our Uber expenses for our US trip, not only in NYC, it was 72,000 pesos. Ganun siya kamahal. And if you can ride a subway, please do. So the subway, you will need the Metro card. If you're staying in NYC for around 1 week or 8 days, I would advise that you get the 7-day Metro card pass. And you can use this in the subway and bus. So this one, it's unlimited rides in the subway and buses. It costs around $30 or $32. Not super cheap, but each ride is $2.90 and depending on how many times you ride the subway, you might spend more than $30 if you are going to tap individually. So really, the cost-effective option is to buy the 7-day pass. Now, when it comes to the Staten Island ferry, you must buy a separate ticket. Kasi in Staten Island, it's another borough, so you have to ride a ferry to get there. It is an island. The Staten Island ferry is free, so you don't have to pay. But then again, if there are any changes, please let me know in the comments so we can correct it sa caption. Other ways to pay sa subway, you can pay via the Omni app, although I have not tried this because as far as I remember, I couldn't download it in the Philippines. And for me, okay na yung subway ticket, so I did not bother trying that out. But if you want to do it via an app, FYI, there's the Omni app. And you can also use a credit card. So one time, I left my Metro card in the hotel and I only had my credit card with me. So I paid for my rides using my credit card. It was a BDO credit card, but I think any credit card is okay as long as they allow international usage. So if some of you here are thinking of saving up by buying just one MTA card and sharing it among your family and friends, that's okay, but you have to wait for 15 minutes before you can use the MTA card again. Let's say there are 3 of you who are thinking of using one MTA card. You have to wait for 45 minutes before everyone can get on the platform. It's not worth it, I'm telling you guys, because you're gonna waste 45 minutes. As I said, NYC is an expensive city. You really have to save up for it. Speaking of transportation, it's inevitable that we will discuss the subway, which was my most preferred transportation in New York City because it's super convenient, it's super cheap, and it gets you from A to B in a few minutes. The New York City subway is one of the most expansive subway systems in the world, and in fact, I think the Japan subway was inspired by it because the New York City subway was around since the 1900s pa ata. So yun, ang tagal na niya. That said, some important notes when riding the subway. Number 1, you cannot memorize all the things about the subway and all the important details about the subway. It's impossible and you are just going to have a hard time. What you need to do is you just have to know where you need to go. You just have to know the streets, the exits, as well as the important landmarks and addresses of the places that you want to go to. Just use Google Maps and the MTA app. You will need these things. But personally, I love using the MTA app Because personally, I can input there the place that I will go to. And then it shows me which actual stages that I have to take. First two important things you have to know before riding the subway, especially if you're staying in the Manhattan area, is uptown and downtown. This refers to the areas in Manhattan. So when you say uptown, so sila Central Park, Harlem, Upper East Side. There's also Midtown, but people don't really call it Midtown kasi uptown, downtown lang yung pinakasikat. But in the Midtown, you will find there portions of Central Park as well as sila Rockefeller Center, sila Fifth Avenue, the shopping area is there. And when you go downtown, you will find here the Financial District, Chelsea, Tribeca, Soho, Greenwich, those areas. And of course, may tinatawag silang Brooklyn, but this is not part of Manhattan already. It's a totally different borough. But if you will stay in the Manhattan area for a majority of your trip, then you have to know uptown and downtown. Just to get you started in riding the subway, to know if it's a subway station, then you have to look at, of course, if merong parang stairs going down, you have to check out the balls, the Pokeballs on the station. So these are either green or red. And you also have to know the uptown, downtown, and no sign station. For example, when your station says uptown, that train will only go uptown. Now, if you will go to Soho, which is in downtown, and you enter that station, you cannot go downtown. Because pag nakalagay lang uptown trains, it will only service uptown locations. And if the station says downtown, that means that station will only service downtown trains. So if you enter that station and you want to go to, let's say, Harlem or Bronx, you cannot go there because that station will only service downtown trains. Now, if there's no sign, it doesn't say uptown or downtown, that means that station will service both uptown and downtown trains. So whichever place you'll go, uptown or downtown, you can find a train in a no sign station. Now, let's say you entered an uptown station and you want to go downtown and you want to transfer to a downtown station. Most of the time, you cannot cross within the station. You have to go out again and cross the street and find a downtown station. But there are bigger stations that will allow you to cross to a different platform. If you look at the map of the New York City subway, there are colors running all over. Now, you will think that, okay, it's a purple train, it's an orange train. No, they refer to the purple line, orange line, blue line. But unlike in Japan, wherein if you spot an orange line, then you ride everything on the orange line, you'll get to that destination. In New York City, no. You have to know the letter of your train. Let's say Google Maps tells you to ride the B train and it's on the orange line. You can't just say, oh, I will ride the orange line. Let's say there are letter B, letter A, letter D trains on the orange line and you ride any of those, you might be taken to an incorrect destination. When it says you only have to ride the B train, just ride the B train. So again, refer to the letters of your train, not the colors. Next, of course, is food. Oh my God, this is my most favorite part of my New York City trip. Sobrang sarap ng food in New York City. The first time I went to the States, I really did not like the food. I found it so bland. My first time was in the West Coast. So I went to LA, Las Vegas, San Diego. I wasn't really impressed with the food, but oh my God, New York City redeemed the United States for me. Okay, so when it comes to food, you will not have any problem. There are lots of variety. Asian, American, Chinese, Middle Eastern, Nepalese, Indian, whatever, because New York City is a melting pot of cultures. There are so many nationalities who call New York City home. In fact, maraming ang Filipino. I think sa Queens area, may mga Filipino food. So if you're craving for Filipino food, just go to Queens. But the main food in New York City are pizza and bagels. You will find these everywhere. When it comes to my quick recos, I would highly suggest get Bleecker Street for pizza, Milk for sweets. I love their ice cream. Cat's Deli for sandwich. This one is viral but really worth the hype. As a bagel for bagels, I love the lox sandwich. So it's cream cheese and salmon. Clinton Street Bakery for breakfast food. Oh my God, I love their pancakes. One of the best pancakes I've tried. Also Carbone for gigantic servings of food. This is a very popular Italian restaurant in the Times Square area. When it comes to budget, if you have the money, of course, go to the restaurants, have fine dining. New York City has a lot of really good fine dining restaurants, and there are also a couple of 3 Michelin star restaurants in the city. For example, Le Bernardin, which I was fortunate enough to try in my trip. And a lot of people say that the street food is the affordable option, but in my opinion, it's not, because the street food carts, they average between $18 to $20 per plate. And this is the chicken rice plate, ah. So it's not really affordable in my opinion. The more affordable ones are the $1 pizzas, which you will find a lot of in the Lower East Village. If you want to eat a lot, and if you really want to fuel up for the day, and you are on a budget, go to the Lower East Side and look for the $1 pizzas. And also, Chinatown is very popular for cheap eats. Next activities, let's talk about the activities that you have to do in New York. Well, number one, you have to do activities in New York. It's nice to people watch and just walk around, because after all, New York is such a picturesque city. There are so many things to see. But the activities in the city, they're also worth experiencing. So I would highly advise that you set aside some money for these experiences. The number one experience that I recommend you do and save up for is to watch a Broadway show. Your New York visit will never be complete without a Broadway show. Yes, Broadway is the soul of New York City. But the thing is, a Broadway ticket can be really expensive. But good news, there are many ways to save on it. There's a thing called Broadway shows. So these are the main shows. And there are also what you call the off-Broadway shows. They're not as super popular as Broadway, but could potentially become Broadway shows. And they're not as expensive. A Broadway ticket ranges between 2,000 all the way to 15,000 pesos depending on the popularity of the show. I wanted to go to New York in 2020, but then again, nag-lockdown. Yung Hamilton was on its last run in 2020. And yung ticket nun for a very good seat was 15,000 pesos. Last year, we wanted to watch Fiddler on the Roof ba yun? I forgot. Basta yung Broadway show with Daniel Radcliffe and Jonathan Groff. However, their show ended before our visit to New York. So we decided to watch & Juliet, which is a very, very good musical. So yung ticket nun was 7,000 pesos each. Pretty expensive, pero at least it's not 15,000. So yon, Broadway shows can be really expensive, but then again, it is a worthwhile experience. Other activities that you should do. Number one, go on a tour. There are lots of tours in New York City. You have city tours, Statue of Liberty tour. You can also go on a food tour. There are agencies that offer food tours. Also, if you're staying long like we did, we stayed for around 9 days and 8 nights, you can go on an out of New York City tour. In our case, we did a Boston tour. And I highly recommend that. It's a bit expensive, but oh my God, ang ganda ng Boston. And in Boston, you will see Harvard, the Harvard University, MIT, basta lahat ng kilalang university sa Amerika nandun. If you don't mind very long rides, you can go to Washington and check out the Niagara Falls. Or is it Niagara Falls? Also, if you don't like the idea of going out of New York City and you want to experience the city more, definitely check out the roof deck activities. You can either drink on a roof deck bar or if you're not a drinker, you can go to one of the popular roof decks in New York City. In our case, we went to Top of the Rock because it is one of the most recommended and it offers a really nice view of the Empire State Building. You can also go to the roof deck of the Empire State Building, but you cannot see the Empire State Building. There's also the much newer roof deck called the One Vanderbilt. So ito yung very Instagrammable, yung merong mga silver balloons and mirrored walls and ceilings. And also, never ever skip the Met, one of the most expansive and best museums in the world. There are 2 Met museums in New York City. I forgot the name, but I think it's located somewhere in downtown. But the most popular one is located in Uptown at Central Park. Met Museum, it's hard to book a ticket on their website. So what we did was, we just bought tickets on the day in the museum and it was completely fine. There was a line, but it was moving fast and we were able to secure our tickets. So I would advise that you do the same. The Met Museum is like a half-day tour. It's so huge. We only planned to spend 1 hour, but we ended up spending around 3 hours because super ganda niya and super laki. So make sure you're wearing comfortable shoes. After that, you can go outside and eat in one of the food carts along the Met Museum. And you can visit the north part of the park. Kung tagtipid talaga, there are free activities around New York City. The first one is the High Line at Chelsea. So this is in downtown. It is an old railroad tracks on top of the streets, and it was converted into a park. Super nice nga. It's really nice to walk around there. It's quite long, and after that, end your day or have lunch at Chelsea Market. And if you're looking for rice, you will find one in Chelsea Market because there are lots of cuisines in there. Also, Central Park, another free activity. You can just go there, sit, have wine or drinks and food. You can also go people watching in there. The Hive at Greenwich, yung parang malaking beehive na building. However, if you want to climb the Hive, there is an entrance fee. It's not free anymore, but if you just want to stay there and marvel at the piece, then go ahead. By all means, do it. It's free. You can also walk the Brooklyn Bridge. So you can walk from Manhattan to Dumbo, and from Dumbo to Manhattan. If you're up for walking and you really don't want to spend on activities, that's a really nice activity to do, and it's free. Also, you can hang out in the parks. There's Washington Park, Bryant Park. Check out also St. Patrick's Cathedral, really nice. That's in Midtown. Walk up and down 5th Avenue, window shopping lang kayo. And you can also go to the Rockefeller Center and just hang out. If you're there during the Christmas season, there's gonna be a huge Christmas tree in there. So it's nice to just stay, check it out, and take pictures. Also, Times Square. Times Square is free. However, there will just be a lot of people who will try to scam or sell stuff to you. So just, be wary of them and ignore them. Next, shopping, my favorite activity in New York City. Whether you're looking for thrift stores, premium or high-end brands, and even luxury brands, you can find everything in the Big Apple. So here are some of the best shopping spots in my experience. So in Midtown, the 49th to 60th streets have the best shopping boutiques. So this is in Midtown, sa may bandang Rockefeller Center to. And from 53rd Streets and up, so these are the luxury stores, luxury boutiques. You will find there sila Bergdorf Goodman, ayun, mga Hermes, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Apple. From 54th and below, going to the Rockefeller Center area, you will find the premium and high-end stores such as the North Face, Aritzia, Puma, Adidas, Nike. So mga luxury lovers like me, Bergdorf Goodman is the department store to go. You can also check Saks at 5th Avenue. This one is in the Rockefeller Center. Also Bloomingdale's, but Bloomingdale's yon medyo mix of high-end and luxury. And if you want a huge concentration of premium and high-end brands, you can definitely go to Soho. Love Soho. It's actually my most favorite district in New York City. It's just a mix of everything. It's vintage, but at the same time modern. There's a bit of class in the air. Thrift shops, unfortunately, I cannot share anything about that because I don't really go thrift shopping. But if you want mga quirky and cute finds and trinkets, you can go to Chelsea Market. The Pearl Market ba yung tawag dun? Basta it's a huge store that sells quirks and curiosities. Just some things you have to know before you shop till you drop in New York City. Number one, all prices are tax exclusive. Meaning, if this item costs $50 on the rack, that does not include tax yet. When you bring it to the counter and you pay, that's the time they will add the tax on top. Now, based last year, the sales tax for New York City is 8.87%. I don't know how much it is now, but just to let you know yun, medyo malaki siya. So when you buy, always think that, okay, the tax will still be added on top, so you won't go over budget. And unfortunately, there's no tax refund in New York City. New York City offers you a ton of options when it comes to shopping. However, you have to accept the fact that you will sacrifice your tax refund. And generally, all shops and stores accept credit cards. They also accept cash, but mas preferred nila ang credit cards, most especially for department stores. Next, safety. This is very important. I'm sure you have seen a lot of videos about how unsafe New York City is. Well, personally and thankfully, I have never gotten into trouble in New York City. But then again, we've had a couple of encounters. And I'll share some general tips that I got from forums and YouTubers that really helped us enjoy New York City while staying vigilant. Don't stare at people in the eye. This is a general rule by New Yorkers. I've noticed that some Filipinos, we tend to look at people out of curiosity. But then again, in New York City, that might, you might come off as weird to people. And if you are unlucky, some people might find that you are provoking them, so they might aggressively approach you. So general rule of thumb, don't stare at people. Well, even if you're not in New York City, don't stare at people. That's weird. Next is the subway. Okay, subway safety tips. Number 1, when there are people who are shouting, making a scene, what you will notice is the New Yorkers will just ignore them. And this is why New Yorkers would always come with earphones and headphones, because it's the fastest way to look busy. And if you look busy and you're not minding the person who's making a scene, most of the time they won't really attack or go after you. When there are people who are shouting, just ignore them. Don't stare at them. Don't look at them. And just look busy. Yun. Also, if people leave the train and you don't know what the reason is, leave the train as well. Because you don't know, there might be someone who's aggressive in the train and you can't see it. Or maybe someone did something disgusting in the train. Basta if the train stops at a station and everyone left, even if there's no announcement or doesn't seem like there's any problem with the train, just leave with them and wait for the next station and ride that one. Next, so this is advice from New Yorkers on YouTube. Best not to ride the subway after 10 p.m. because a lot of shady characters tend to hang out in the station late at night, so you don't want to run into them. My husband and I's rule before going to New York, we have to be back in our hotel before 10 p.m. or by 10 p.m. If ever we want to hang out late and stay out after 10 p.m., then we will ride the Uber going back to our hotel. We will not ride the subway. And also, always sanitize your hands. The New York City subway is not really the cleanest. And don't stand way too close to the tracks. Well, unfortunately, I know you've been seeing this on Instagram that there are some tourists that were being pushed to the train tracks. That is a real occurrence and it's really scary. However, don't let that stop you from visiting New York City, because as I mentioned, I've been to New York City and nothing really happened to us. Don't wander late at night in dark places and places with less people. Again, just like any large city, New York has its fair share of crimes. Just like in Manila. In general naman, wherever you are, never wander in dark places, especially if you are not from that place. There are pickpockets in New York City, unfortunately. So always keep your bag close. Don't attract attention by counting money on the street. And don't show people where you're hiding your money. Basta, don't show people that you have money. And also, it would help if you have bags that have zippers and have a very thick material. Unfortunately, yung mga open bags or bags with no closure are not really ideal for a place like New York City. Okay, don't stop when someone stops you. Again, this is a scam. You will find that some people might, approach you and ask, hey, can I ask you something? Or can you help me? Or hey, you dropped something. Just ignore them and walk away. Us Asians and also Filipinos, we tend to be very helpful. But sometimes that can be a detriment to us, especially in foreign countries. Because as Filipinos, we are very kind, we're very helpful. However, it shouldn't be the case all the time. Plus, we tend to be very respectful, so we always try our best to talk and attend to the person who approaches us. But in this case, in New York City, when someone approaches you, you don't know that person, and that person has no business approaching you, don't engage, don't entertain, don't even try talking to them. Just walk away and then they will leave you alone. Because the moment they feel that you can be engaged, you're willing to help, they will not let you go. It's gonna be very stressful for you. And of course, that's gonna dampen your trip because super stressed ka na, I'm sure. And when someone calls and approaches you, again, don't engage. Leave them alone. You don't owe them any greeting, any attention. Alright, next tips. This is something that's very important to discuss because you will feel that it's mandatory when you are buying products or services in New York City. So the tip is between 18 to 20%, but in general, we paid around 20% for all the tips that we gave. Again, it's not obliged, but they will really push you to give. And if you don't give, then some people can be pretty straightforward and they will really complain that you're not giving them any tips. or they will just render bad service. Unfortunately, the cost of living in New York City is very high, and a lot of these workers, especially the service workers, are just relying on tips to survive. I know it's not our problem, but then again, we can't really do something about it when we are in New York City because everyone's really enforcing that rule. If I were you, if you can give, then just give the tip, but then again, you have to meet the 18 to 20%. You can't just give, okay, I'll give $1. It has to be 18 to 20% of the bill. There are some people naman who are taking advantage of tourists. Now, if the servers serve you like it's a sit-down restaurant, they really served you your food, gave you water, entertained your questions, then the tip is warranted. However, there are self-service stations, for example, a cafe, wherein the server will try to sneakily ask a tip from you. We were in the financial district one time, and we self-ordered the coffee. We were punching the price and all, and then all of a sudden, the girl said, you want to give a tip? And I'm like, no. I said no, and then she was like, okay. She was okay. She wasn't really mad because she knew that she was trying to get a tip even if she does not deserve it because it was self-service. So, ingat lang kayo doon. So, usually, mga self-service counters, they do it really fast. They will tell you what the bill is, throw in a bunch of questions, and then when you tap your credit card, they will turn the monitor to you and then all of a sudden ask tips, and then your next impulse will be to press the tip button, and then there, they got their tip. Ingat lang kayo doon because marami doon talagang medyo manglalanse. So just some of the scams that you might encounter in New York City. Taxi and Uber scam. When you arrive in New York, let's say in JFK, International Airport, when you go out and try to look for a taxi, there are taxis that will wave at you, and there are also cars that will say that they're an Uber. Don't ride those guys. They might scam you and charge you exorbitant transportation fees. When you get to JFK, you have to go straight to the taxi stand. Those are the legit taxis. And also the legit Uber can only be booked through the Uber app. Remember, pag Uber, mag-book talaga sa app. Okay, next is the monk and bracelet scam. So we have this in the Philippines. Mga guys dressed in a monk outfit. They have bracelets, and when you are doing something, all of a sudden they will approach you and put a bracelet on you. That's a scam. If a monk guy tries to do that to you in New York City, take your hand away and give him back the bracelet. If he doesn't decide to take it back and just drop it on the floor, let him pick it up. Don't pay for that because they're gonna rip you off. Next is food with no prices. Okay, so there are a lot of food carts in New York City that have no prices. So don't buy from these guys because they can charge you whatever they want, and most of the time the prices are crazy. So only buy from carts with prices. Okay, we have the picture scam. So my husband and I experienced this in Times Square. So we were taking a video of us in Times Square, and then all of a sudden there was this guy who took our photo and then showed it to us and said, "This is really nice." He said, "Yeah, get this." And I'm like, "No, we did not ask you to take our photo." And then he just left. So yeah, you have to be firm. This is not the time to embody the meek Filipino attitude because lots of people will try to rip you off in New York City. Really have to be tough. Match their toughness. So ako talaga, when I'm traveling in the States, I have this like aura of toughness. Like, okay, I'm Asian, I'm small, but no, I'm not gonna let you mess with me. I'm not saying be combative or rude. I'm just saying, have this air of confidence. Because when you're confident, mga shady guys will think twice of, approaching you because they know you can fight back. Those are the important things you have to know before you go to New York City. Now, I will share with you quickly my 9-day, 8-night itinerary sa New York City. So you have an idea. Just in case you are gonna stay for that long and you are overwhelmed and you don't know which places to go. Okay, the thing is, New York City is a very large city and there are so many things to do. And if you don't plan your day well, you might end up wasting your day traveling to different parts just because you can hit everything that you've put in your itinerary. There's a better way to visit all the important spots and experience all the great activities while maximizing your time and budget. New York City, as mentioned, is divided into boroughs. So you have to decide which borough you are going to focus on first. So let's say you are mostly staying in Manhattan. then just stay there. And Manhattan is a very big area, so you have to look at the different districts. And what you need to do is find the districts that are beside each other and spend the day exploring those districts. I would only recommend 1 to 2 districts per day max, because New York City is very huge, and you also have to factor in the distance of the places that you want to go to. You have to visit the districts that are beside each other. For example, Chelsea and Greenwich. Because if you decide to visit districts that are far away from each other, you are gonna waste time traveling. For example, you want to visit Chelsea, tapos you want to go to the Upper East Side. The travel time there is maybe around 25 to 30 minutes. Well, that's a lot of time, and you have to factor in pa that you'll get lost or rush hour. So don't do that, because you will just waste your time in travel. This is our itinerary. So first day, on our very first day, we don't schedule any activity because there might be flight cancellations, or we might have, problems getting to our hotel in the city. So it's a rule of thumb for us. The arrival day is normally a free day and a rest day. Of course, we're very tired and we just want to sleep early, so we have more energy for the next day. We got to our hotel 4 p.m. and we had time to explore the Rockefeller Center area. And then basically we just walked up and down Fifth Avenue just to check out the shops. Next day was our Soho day. So we just explored the entirety of Soho. Malaki ang Soho, guys, so wag nyong i-underestimate ang Soho. Then at night, we walked back to the Lower East Village to eat at Cat's Deli. Okay, next Tuesday, we went to Top of the Rock. So this is our observatory day now. It was mostly Midtown Day. And then we headed to Times Square at night to watch & Juliet. So that was our Broadway day. And then we went back to the hotel to sleep. Next day was our Central Park day. So we toured Central Park. So my advice for Central Park is you enter at the 72nd Street from the west part. So you can pass all the must-see parts of Central Park, such as John Lennon Tribute area and the Bethesda Terrace. Afternoon was shopping day for me. I asked my husband to give me a shop. And we went back to the hotel to prepare for Le Bernardin, which is a 3 Michelin star restaurant in New York City. And then we went back to the hotel because the following day, Saturday, was our Boston tour. It was a whole day tour. And on our 6th day, it was a Sunday, we went to Brooklyn, sa Dumbo. And then we did the Brooklyn Bridge walk from Dumbo to Manhattan. And then we walked the bridge going to Manhattan, and then we ended up at the Financial District area. So we walked around, we checked out Financial Street, si Wall Street, si Raging Bull. However, we did not get to see sino yun yung girl na nakaganon. We went to the Oculus, this really nice train station. We paid our respects to the 911 Memorial. And then we went to one of the piers because we had a Statue of Liberty cruise at 4 p.m. And then we went na to Oshaval. So this is a very popular burger spot in New York City for dinner. And after that, we went back na to the hotel. Okay, on our 7th day, it's Monday. We went to the Chelsea Market, we walked the High Line, and then we ended at Chelsea Market to have lunch. Nagpunta kami ng The Hive. My husband went up the Hive. I did not want to climb anymore. And then after that, we walked to Greenwich because we wanted to see more of Greenwich. Super ganda ng Greenwich. Houses there. Yung facade are still made of bricks and stone. Very, very beautiful. Also, we went there to check out the Sex and the City apartment of Carrie Bradshaw. And also, the apartment of Taylor Swift sa Cornelia Street. Yes, nakita ko siya. As a Swiftie, I'm so happy. We went to Soho again for a little more shopping. Then we ended our day at a roof deck bar called Overstory. Tuesday, this was our last full day. We just went back to Central Park and headed to the Met. So we spent around 3 hours, and then we walked Central Park again, yung north part of the park. At least we were able to visit the north, middle, and south parts of Central Park. It was pretty much a freestyle day. Went shopping, went around the city some more, and then we went back to the hotel to pack. And by Wednesday, which was our 9th day, we headed to LaGuardia Airport for our flight to Orlando. So yeah, we went to Miami and Los Angeles after our New York leg. So that's it for my 8-day itinerary in New York City. So yan, ang daming nagawa in 8 days. And as I said, 8 days is pretty much sufficient, but you really have to be strategic with how you design your itinerary. Final tip for you before your New York City trip. Again, even if you've been seeing a lot of videos painting New York City as an unsafe city, New York City is just like any other big city. There is danger everywhere. Even in Manila, there's also danger. And even in Manila, there are pickpockets in posh areas. Please always keep cash on hand, but be careful of your cash, be wary, and keep it in a safe place in your bag. Eat your heart out. New York City is such a nice place for foodies like me. Ang sarap talaga ng food. Don't miss the pizzas. Huwag niyong i-miss din yung mga fine dining nila. Basta ang sarap lahat ng food. Milk bar, oh my God, ang sarap. You have to set aside money for a gastronomic adventure in New York City. That's it. That's my advice for New York City first-time Filipino travelers plus my itinerary. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it useful. Also, if you've been to New York City and you think I forgot to mention or clarify some things, please clarify them in the comments. Let's help out those who are going to travel to New York City for the first time. Let's help them make it a very enjoyable trip. Again, this is Marla of the Beauty Junkie and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Visit my social media accounts and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye!